Hello and welcome back to Critical Laughter Podcast. My name is Scott.
I'm Grant.
I'm Craig.
I'm not doing an accent, Scott.
And I won't do that the whole time either. I was already doing that when we started, so I was like, I'm just gonna go for it.
Well, so far you have kept your promise to change it up on us every single time. I appreciate that. That part I do know.
Keep you on your toes. Anyway, like we said before, we are gonna kind of every other podcast we're going to do our little discussion podcast. Something nerdy this way comes.
Considering how nerdy
Coming
we
soon.
are, everything we do is nerdy.
So if you don't like D&D and you like nerdy stuff, just do the even episodes.
Yeah.
If you like D&D but you hate the nerdy stuff, shame on you.
like I said before, we'll probably annotate it somehow. I think maybe in the title will probably be like nerdy discussions or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, we'll make it so you guys know which one's the D&D ones and which ones are just the discussion ones.
Yeah. And if you don't like these random discussions, let us know. We'll change topics or we'll just drop it all together. We're going to follow what the viewers want.
Yeah. So, in the last discussion, we were talking about the spreadsheet that I have that has all these different stats. We went over Batman and Spider-Man and a little bit of Avengers and mostly just the total gross. We probably will keep going with that, but with some of the other franchises, we might get into some of the reviews, but I can't make any promises. So, like the last time we kind of touched on the Avengers, but I don't feel like we didn't go too much into it.
I think the most we talked about the Avengers was 2.5.
Yeah. Well, how could you not?
So I think one of the big things we should talk about with the Avengers is really the powerhouse, because it's number 3 on the list and it has 3 movies. Avengers 1, Avengers 2, and we're counting Civil War. If you don't understand why, go back to the second one. To level 2 where we talk about it more.
Yeah.
But so, frankly, it has... I gotta look again. It's number 3, and Civil War is right now still in like its 3rd week in the U.S.
3rd or 4th week in the U.S. I think.
3rd week.
5th, maybe 4th or 4th week in foreign. Because it was about a week or 2 ahead.
Do you want me to check that one?
Yeah, if you go to Box Office Mojo, you can see it. Not sponsored by Box Office Mojo, but if you want to sponsor us and send us free stuff, feel free.
We're good with...
What would they send us? I know we tried to get Marvel on level 2.
Money?
I don't know.
We like money, too.
If they want to feature us on the site, yeah, I'll take it. Advertising. But, like you're saying,
May 19th.
it's not even
Civil War crosses.
It's not even
$1 billion
done yet. It's...
I'll stop that.
Before we forget, I want to just remind everybody that these numbers they account for inflation. And what we didn't say last time is it's both U.S. and foreign box office.
Right.
Both of them.
Ooh,
It's the total gross. But yes, Civil War, it's at number 3, like Grant just said, and currently it's at $3,930,000,000 and some change.
For Avengers.
Change being thousands of hundreds of dollars.
Avengers, not Civil War.
Yes.
Civil War
is at
Avengers.
$3 billion.
But
no one will ever top it.
Again, for however far Civil War is going, it's at 942 million.
And that's just this past Monday. It's actually at 970 some odd million, I think.
Yeah, so
because I've been keeping tabs on it. I just haven't updated it to right now because I update it usually on a weekly basis.
Yeah. So, I really think this is impressive for the Avengers because 3 movies, and I think it has the highest average of the franchise.
I'm
betting.
Almost positive it does.
And so,
actually, Batman still has it.
4 weeks.
Does Batman still
No, Spider-Man has it actually.
Really? Interesting.
It's 919.
Scott Grant. It's been Captain America's 4 weeks internationally.
4 weeks internationally.
Okay, so then it's probably only been 3.
3.
Yeah.
3 domestic.
Fun fact, so when we were talking about this sheet a while back, I actually went on Box Office Mojo, and one of the interesting things is Civil War internationally did better its second weekend than its first, which is not usual from what I've seen.
I've actually seen that as a trend for a lot of the Marvel movies.
Really?
that like the first weekend will do obviously way good, but then it doesn't, because most movies as a trend will do the best its first weekend and kind of slowly go down until it's released on DVD and Blu-ray and
Dollar theater.
VHS and you know, Betamax. But the Marvel movies, I noticed a lot of them, especially the Avengers movies, they fluctuate. Because I was looking at Box Office Mojo, and there was a couple weeks where it was like, did really well, went down, went up, went down, went up, and not a lot of movies do that. I mean, I think it's because, you know, you have the people that are saying, oh my gosh, this is awesome, and then... And
going back and seeing it, or like pushing their friends to go see it. I mean, I know I've told my coworkers like 6,000 times they should go see Civil War.
Right.
I don't think anyone would listen to me yet, but
there's even repeat viewers. Like I've seen a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I've seen it twice."
I've seen it twice.
Like Mr.
Twice
Craig.
opening weekend, guys.
Whoa, calm down.
Hey, free tickets. I'm not going to turn down seeing that movie twice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't turn down free tickets for seeing it 4 times.
So, Box Office Mojo, you know how to please Grant and Scott.
But, you know, so it's... Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's doing amazing. And like we said, with the franchise is at third with 3 movies. That's comparing, like, to Batman, who is $4 billion plus with 9 movies. Just think about that for a minute. 9 versus 3. Like, and Civil War, and, like, Avengers is only, like, isn't that much off of it. I think after Infinity War, I could see it. I could easily see it crossing the 4 billion mark, and it could catch up to Batman, assuming that there's not another Batman movie in between that time.
There will probably be one in between that time, because I mean I've heard a lot of whispering. Oh, you're right. I guess
there's no Batman movie that is announced. There could be one that's announced. Who knows? I don't know what DC's doing. Do you? I don't think so. But yeah, so I mean, it's so I could see Avengers eventually passing up the Batman, even if Batman makes another movie, I could easily see Avengers doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, with less, because just looking at the numbers right now, it's obviously performing way more than Batman on average.
Yeah.
Another fun thing. So, moving down the list. So after X-Men, we have Superman.
Well, hold on. We were just talking about Avengers. Are we just going to jump over X-Men?
It's fine.
I
Nobody
thought
cares.
we talked about Avengers in the last one. Sorry, I thought we talked about X-Men last time, but
I guess we did a little
We
bit.
kind of touched on it. I don't think we went super
we touched
into
on the reboot-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really go over it. I mean, so yeah, we can let's discuss
Okay.
X-Men for a little.
Sorry, X-Men, I almost skipped you.
Hey, they have 7 movies, man.
Oh, we did talk about that too.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's actually the 3rd highest amount of movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 4th, actually. No, 3rd. Yeah.
Third.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
What do we want to say about X-Men? I mean, because I feel like personally my views on X-Men is some of them have been really good, some of them have been not so good.
It's very, it fluctuates a lot.
Yeah. And I don't know, so we also mentioned last time how we think one of the big reasons for X-Men doing so well is Hugh Jackman, where he's been a driving force ever since the first one, and they pushed it. I mean, even in the Apocalypse trailers, he was kind of a key point in the trailer to get people hyped for it.
You said Wolverine?
Yeah. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when X-Men go, or when Hugh Jackman leaves X-Men, because they need a new face.
Hugh Jackman? What kind of a name is that?
And so it'll just be interesting. They have a lot of movies, and some of them have done well, some of them have not. And yeah, I'm just blathering now. Somebody take over for
No,
me.
yeah, no, I totally agree with you. We did touch on the Wolverine thing last time with Hugh Jackman. And the first rumor, I think I've seen the first rumor about where they want to head, and there's rumors that they want to go for the female Wolverine, which I think that's the current incarnation of Wolverine in the comics.
I think
I don't know. I'm super behind on the comics, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the current incarnation, so that could be interesting, but at the same time, it's not Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
level, because Hugh Jackman has been at the forefront of the X-Men movies, like, for pretty much all of them. I mean, even the critically acclaimed failure of X-Men Origins Wolverine, it still did really, like, decently well. And so, you know, taking Hugh Jackman out of it, even if you got another male actor to be Wolverine,
Well,
I wonder how much it's going to affect the performance.
Yeah, I agree it's going to affect the performance, but I think their best bet actually would be to go for the female Wolverine, just because...
Or even just a different, like, Wolverine, not, just a different one, not the main stage Wolverine.
What do you mean, not the main stage Wolverine?
What's it?
Logan?
Not Logan.
Oh, okay, that
So
makes
it's
sense.
someone other than
because
Logan.
I think he's just so iconic as Wolverine right now that they can't have him...
They can't really recast it without...
they'd have to do something.
I think there'll still be Lashback, even if they
Well,
don't do it. I think regardless, you're going to have Lashback, but I do agree. I think there will be less if they just don't do Logan, they do someone else.
yeah. Okay, Craig, now we can skip over X-Men. I think we've...
Well, while you guys are
about
doing
it
that, I
as
was
much
trying
as
to see who the current Wolverine is. I think it's still Logan in the comics.
Is it? They must have brought him back because he
They-
was gone for a while.
Yeah, as far as I can
Because
tell.
he died in the comics. I don't know if they brought him back though.
Yeah, I'm looking at images for the 2016.
Go to the Marvel wiki. I can do it actually because I know.
No, there's a female
Okay.
cover, 2016. All new Wolverine 2016 number 2 image on the internet.
I'll look it up. If you guys wanna move on,
Well, Craig had something to say about
or if you had something you want to say about X-Men.
Well, not about X-Men. He was ready to... When he wanted to skip X-Men and talk about Superman, which is next on our list.
Yeah.
So
No, like I
Superman-
said, unless you wanted to say something about X-Men.
No,
Now's your chance, man.
I was just jumping over to Superman. I was trying to get us going because I felt like we were about to rehash our entire level 2 podcast.
It's fine. Deja vu.
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
Mujade.
It's deja vu.
So
Superman is the franchise with the second highest number of movies.
and they're ranked what now?
Number
So
5?
1, 2, 3,
Is that
4.
lower?
They're ranked fifth on the totals, with 8 movies. They're at $2.7 billion.
Poor Superman.
Poor Superman. You've only made 2.7.
Like, I haven't seen all the old Superman movies, but, like, from what I understand, he really hasn't had an amazing Superman movie. Like,
Superman's hard to relate to.
Because you don't relate to an all-powerful god that can only be killed by green rocks? And Doctor Strange?
Magic, in general.
No.
But
I totally understand
Actually,
you.
so going back a little bit, I know with last level 2 podcast, we hashed Batman versus Superman, but one thing they did with that movie is they made him slightly more relatable.
Who, Superman?
Now, Superman was slightly more relatable, but at the same time,
Interesting.
it's still hard to connect.
He's almost, you could almost say he's too powerful.
Yep.
I don't know if it's necessarily a power thing, though, because, I mean, Thor is a literal god, and he's one of the
And
closest...
boot.
he's one of the... We still managed to relate to him. Although I guess when we related to him in the first Thor movie, it was partly because he had his powers taken away.
Because he's
Right.
human.
That goes back to just Marvel versus DC. Marvel tends to make their characters with flaws. Not bad flaws like writing, not like bad writing, but like human flaws. They make them more relatable. I mean, the best example is Spider-Man. He has these amazing powers, like super strengths, like spidey senses, like the webbing, everything, this amazing powers, but he's also just a normal dude. I mean, until, even after he graduates high school, he's a guy who has, a part-time job taking pictures, going to college for a while, and, trying to organize his love life, trying to make ends meet, there's several comics where it talks about him not being able to pay for his apartment, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
And yet he's has these amazing powers, and he's, super powerful, but he's relatable. I don't think I think everyone has had that time in their life where it's, you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to deal with, dating, you're trying to deal with going to college and stuff like that. So it's like they add those. Marvel tends to add those flaws to their characters, even like their super powerful ones, like Thor or Sentry, where they add these flaws to them, and like they're all powerful, but they're flawed, and so they're a lot more relatable rather than all powerful except for rocks, or magic. So it's like
Or businessmen.
or Martha.
Or what?
Martha,
Oh, yeah.
Martha! Why'd you say that name?
Spoiler!
I think that one's got memed enough that...
Probably. And to be honest, Batman vs. Superman has been out for quite a while, so it's like, it's almost into the territory of, sorry.
I love how we define a while enough as about 2 months.
The age of the internet.
I feel like I haven't seen it, but I feel like there's been enough memes and spoilers online that you can't avoid that it's like, well, sorry.
Yeah. So, I guess we hashed out Superman enough. I think we got him a lot last time.
Yeah. So, although I wonder, what were what...
Ooh. Here's an interesting fact, guys. Looking at the original Superman movie, $1 billion.
So its first one.
The very first movie was the best.
Again, accounting for inflation. I just worry sometimes because, $1 billion back then would have been huge. It's still big.
$1 billion with inflation, that'd be like insane off the charts. Superman is number one with one movie. Actually, an interesting point on that is look at these Superman 1 through 4 before all the movies, but not counting Supergirl before Superman Returns. You see they steadily get lower, with Superman 3 culminating in a really low number, and yet they still made Superman 4. Mm-hmm. I was looking at that the other day, and I'm thinking, what were they thinking? Because generally speaking, like, especially in modern day superhero movies, you could see, generally speaking, like, if a movie does bad, the studio goes, okay, we're either going to step away from it, or we're going to reboot it.
So I was looking through the titles. I thought, well, Superman 4 was the one where he comes back. That was like, the early 2000s. After
Superman Returns is technically Superman 5.
I did not realize there was a Superman 4 in existence. And looking at this number at $32 million, was it? Yeah, $32 million.
Which is a lot of money, but when we're talking superhero blockbuster movies, no, that's terrible.
Yeah, like...
Well, that probably doesn't even meet a lot of budgets nowadays. Like, budgets are huge.
If you look at the standard ones, I don't know if it lost. Was it a loss?
And I didn't look at the loss. I keep going back to this Howard the Duck one. Howard the Duck made more money than Superman 4.
Are you serious?
Yes!
Oh, wow.
Howard the Duck is ranked it's in the bottom 5 on our franchises.
That's hilarious.
And Howard the Duck made $82 million.
Wow.
It made more money than Superman 4.
Well, from what I haven't seen those Superman movies. I guess you don't pluralize the men. I think they just got a little weirder as it went on. Like, there was one point where, like, he threw his chest symbol at a guy. Although that might have been the second one.
No, the third one was weird.
Yeah.
I felt like it was on an acid trip. Second was okay. The third one was weird.
And it's not too weird that they kept making them when they made less. Because, technically Avengers 2 made less than the first Avengers. But, they just kept going. And I guess it didn't work out.
Yeah. Here's hoping Civil War reverses that trend for him.
Yeah.
So, alright, so we're moving on to rank number 6, Iron Man with 3 movies. It's at $2.5 billion. It was just those 3, with the highest one being Iron Man 3 at 1.2. I think that was just after Avengers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first. I think that was the first after.
It was the first move post-Avengers Marvel Studios movie. And I think a lot of that actually was the hype writing off of Avengers, because I think it was released not too long after.
I think it was released within the year. I think that because Avengers was in May. I think Iron Man 3 was.
I think it might have. So it was definitely writing off the hype of it. But that's not a problem though, because it was still a very good movie. I enjoyed it, and just to reiterate, I don't know if we said it at the beginning of the podcast. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Any superhero movie made since since the '60s till
the table.
Till this month. Like, spoilers. If you haven't seen them, if you haven't seen them and you want to see them, go see them. We're going to be discussing lots of spoilers.
So I
Yeah,
think one of
and lots of guesses.
Yeah, I think one of the good things about Iron Man 3 was that it actually had him deal with the aftermath of that. Like, you know, he has PTSD. And because, like, part of the problem that people have had with the after Avengers movies is, like, wondering what happened to the other Avengers. I guess this doesn't address where the other Avengers are necessarily,
But it addressed one of the biggest keys of Avengers 1. Iron Man was the guy who put his life on the line. Like, I know the others did, but Iron Man literally, like...
He almost died.
He almost
That's
died.
why he has PTSD.
It affected him big. And if you wouldn't have had that movie, Avengers 2 would have just been like, what the crap is going on? Because we would not have understood what happened with Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, and so let's just get this out of the way right now. Probably let's discuss the biggest controversy of Iron Man 3 that even the most hardcore of Marvel fanboys will freak out about.
And I've seen a lot of arguments on the internet.
Mandarin.
The Mandarin is the biggest thing. I watched a YouTube video a while back. The guy got angry when Marvel was hinting at maybe doing the real Mandarin. And he was like, Marvel, and he swore up a storm. Don't find the video. It was kind of weird. But no, in all honesty, there are people who love this new version of the Mandarin. But there are people who are very angry with Iron Man, the Iron Man series, because...
Well, I guess what my disappointment was in the first Iron Man, there are mentions to, like, the 10 rings and everything.
Oh, they hinted towards it a lot.
And so, I think I would have been more okay with... I mean, I'm not in the camp of hating what they did with Mandarin, because, they did reconcile it in the... What's that?
All Hail the King.
Called? All Hail the King.
We'll discuss that in a second.
Yeah, we'll discuss that. And so I'm not that upset, but, like, I felt like we had been led up to one version of the Mandarin, and then we were delivered another in Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, they're fixing that a bit, but it still kind of jolted, where it's like, this isn't what I was promised in the first movie.
Yeah,
That's my main problem with it.
I'll go ahead and discuss, because I think out of the three of us, I'm probably the most knowledgeable on Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because you don't read the comics as much.
I'll admit, I don't read the comics barely.
Yeah, so I know I'm, like, I don't know if I'd say I'm the biggest fan of Iron Man, but Iron Man, for me, has had the biggest effect on, like, my life, actually, because what got me into comics and these superhero movies and, like, all this, I would say even to an extent, like, D&D and stuff, was Iron Man 1. The movie in 2008, because I remember I saw a review on it and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool, and I texted Grant. Disclaimer, me and Grant have known each other a really long time. So I texted him. I was like, hey, we should go see this Iron Man movie. It looks kind of cool. And he was like, oh, I kind of know about Iron Man. That looks like it might be fun. So we went and we were both just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But me more so, I was just like, this is amazing. And I'm like, there's comics on this? And like, so like I went and I did a ton of research like that night after the movie, just like reading up on Iron Man, Tony Stark, and like I went out and bought a bunch of comics and like I read up on it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And read about like that they're thinking about making Iron Man 2 and stuff like that. And so like, yeah, so that's my background on Iron Man. I know a lot about Iron Man. I've seen the old cartoons. I've read a bunch of the comics. And yeah, my initial reaction coming out of Iron Man 3 was, because I didn't hate the switch where the Iron Man that, Ben Kingsley did. I didn't hate it. I thought it was a very interesting way to tackle it, because inherently the Mandarin in the comics is kind of racist.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it was
invented in the days of, like, wasn't it?
Right. It was a product of the time. So back then it wasn't really bad. Like that's just what it was. And I mean, and so I can understand, and Marvel wants to be a global type thing.
Yeah, I definitely think they should update it, because...
Right, and if they would have done, like, verbatim what the Mandarin was, it wouldn't have worked. And so I thought they were going to maybe make him, like Grant mentioned in the first Iron Man movie, they do a lot of name dropping and, like, setup for the Mandarin. So I was thinking maybe they're going to do kind of a terrorist from the Middle East type thing. So, like, I mean, that would have worked fine, especially considering Ben Kingsley's white. I think he's from England. Is he part? He might be partial.
I'm not sure
because I believe he's from England.
Well, yeah, he is from England.
Yeah, so he might be like mixed, but yeah, but he's not like complete like
white dude.
Yeah. So, I thought that would have been, but then they did the switch where like he wasn't the Mandarin, and he was just an actor like putting on the part of the Mandarin. And then at the end, Aldrich Killian exclaims, "I am the Mandarin," which was kind of a pretty lame like way to line how to put it.
But I think part of the reason it was so lame is because we already knew he was the villain, and I think I'd already assumed he was the real Mandarin.
So I mean, after all that, I was like, that's kind of an interesting way to do it. I wasn't a fan of it, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, Marvel, what are you smoking? But the weirdest part for me, I think, was because I remember in Iron Man 1, the setup for the Mandarin, you had Raza who had the ring. You had the 10 rings thing. You had the sign. And you had a bunch of other stuff that they even brought in Iron Man 3 and did all this stuff. And then you're like, how can that doesn't make sense. Marvel has been so carefully building this universe. I can see there's a couple things where they probably just like swiped over. That just happens. But I feel like they did that on purpose though. I was just super confused. Did you want to interject? This is going to be a while.
I had a thought, and this is just me speculating, and this is what I do. What about Doctor Strange?
I was thinking that
Doctor Strange versus the Mandarin might be where they connect it, because Doctor Strange is kind of like isolated right now. There's not a lot of information out there about him, but that would connect because the Mandarin exists. The one shot has proven it. Yeah. The stuff we've seen in Iron Man 1,
which I'm going to go over in just a second.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Doctor Strange.
That's a very interesting theory, and they could easily do that.
Yeah. Luckily, we won't have
to wait too much longer. That might work better though, because I mean they're both magic based, and I think it would be a little jarring to have a magic. Although that could be refreshing, have a magic based villain
versus
pop up, and to see how
it might eventually happen. I mean, I could see Doctor Strange going toe to toe with Iron Man.
I just changed my mind. That's how I want it to happen, because I think that would. I think that would be very kind of reminiscent of the first movie, where in the first movie, Iron Man, Tony Stark has to make the suit in a cave with a bunch of scraps, and he's basically fighting his way out of a difficult situation.
And so he would have to do that if he's versing someone.
Yeah, if he suddenly versus someone with magic, he'd have to totally reinvent himself.
I know, I totally agree.
So that's what I want now.
So
you hear me, Marvel? That's what I want.
I'm still voting with Doctor Strange, guys.
It could work. It could be totally work. So, but back to my
long plot of Doctor Strange already.
Part of my long story. So I was like, it was odd to me, like it was. I saw the setup. I saw the setup coming, and then it didn't happen, and I felt like Marvel wouldn't have just like done the setup for someone and just swept under the rug for something completely different. And so then the short All Hail the King came out, which, spoiler, if you haven't watched it, go watch it, especially if you're disappointed with the Mandarin, because it fixes everything.
It kind of fixes everything.
So basically what happens in All Hail the King is you see Trevor Slattery, the quote-unquote Mandarin, and in jail and like doing his thing, and then he is being interviewed by this dude who at the end reveals himself to be a follower of the actual Mandarin. And he has the tattoo of the 10 rings thing, and he's like, guess what? The real Mandarin wants to see you, and he's not too happy with the fact that you've been posing as him. And so it basically confirms everything that Iron Man 1 built up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it all made sense. And even in Iron Man 3, I was just thinking about this just barely actually. If I believe Trevor Slattery said he did research on the Mandarin. How could he do the research on Mandarin if it was a made-up character that Killian made up? You can't research something that doesn't exist.
No, you can't.
So it makes perfect sense that there's a real Mandarin, because Trevor Slattery researched the Mandarin. They used the Mandarin as a face something like a scapegoat for what they were doing, and it makes perfect sense. It all lines up, which is why what makes me a little bit confused. I'm wondering if he had his info wrong. Is the Shane Black, I think, the director of Iron Man 3. He came out and he made a comment that All Hail the King was an apology to the fans. He was like, oh yeah, Marvel just did it to apologize because we screwed the Mandarin up. Which, that's what everyone says. Everyone's like, oh yeah, All Hail the King was a apology, but the thing is, I'm wondering if he has information incorrect, because, like I just stated, it doesn't make sense without the fact that there's a real Mandarin.
You mind if I interject? Marvel is a master at detail. Take Civil War, for example.
Oh yeah.
Tony Stark, first opening scene we see Tony Stark, and he's talking about grief and how he refused to go through the grief process. Hey, guess what Civil War's about? Spoiler alert, Iron Man's going to go through the grief process. Yeah. The general rule of stories is you never introduce a gun into your first act or the very beginning that you have not shot by the third act. You have to resolve it. Otherwise, people have these questions. They want to know the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, like I was saying, it doesn't make sense that All Hail the King was a sidebar type thing. No, it's story-wise, it does not make sense. Even if you don't believe me, go watch Iron Man 1 again, and watch Iron Man 3 again, and watch All Hail the King. They all connect.
Doesn't Iron Man 2 connect to the Mandarin?
It might. I have to rewatch it. I don't think it has name drops. The main drops were in Iron Man 1. But, go and watch all those. Go watch them all in order, and you'll notice, like I just said, they all connect. So it wouldn't make sense that All Hail the King was Marvel going, oh, we screwed up. Here you go. It's possible, but that would be a huge coincidence that the stuff that's set up in Iron Man 1 and even Iron Man 3, that they just all of a sudden were like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's an apology that just somehow lines up with everything.
Well, yeah, and
it's you know what I mean? It's too much of it's too big of a coincidence.
It is way too big.
So that's my feeling on the thing. I don't even though the director, who's the know-all being, says that that's what Marvel said. I don't think it was, because I think maybe they were building up for the whole real Mandarin thing, but they were going to see how the fake Mandarin did in Iron Man 3, and if it did better, they might have kind of adjusted the storyline to fit that. But seeing that it didn't do as well, they might have went back to the original plan. I think the original plan was to have the real Mandarin, and you can see that set up even in Iron Man 3, like I just said. Mm-hmm. So, that's my long-winded thought process on that. But yeah, I love Iron Man, and I think if you were upset about the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, like I said, go watch Iron Man 1, Iron Man 3, and All Hail the King, and you'll see that it all fits together. The Iron Man, the fake Mandarin is just that. It's a fake Mandarin.
Yeah, and I just pulled up the Marvel movie schedule. The soonest, if the Mandarin is not in Doctor Strange, the soonest we would see a Mandarin is Phase 4. Yeah. Which would not be until 2020.
Which, it'll be interesting. If they could, the Mandarin is a huge villain in the Iron Man universe. It's his main go-to villain. So, they could theoretically blow him out and make him a main Avengers villain. I could totally see that, and that would work, especially if they did the real Mandarin with the magic rings.
But would they do that for Infinity War? I think that
not for Infinity Wars. Not for Infinity Wars. I'm saying after Infinity Wars, because they could do an Iron Man 4 and put him in Iron Man 4.
Because I don't know how long they're going to keep some of the characters. Don't get me wrong, I love the actors that are playing it, but
there's only so long.
You can keep them around. So part of me is guessing that Phase 4 we're going to start getting some new heroes, people taking up the mantles of the old heroes.
Oh yeah, that's actually most people's thought process right now.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. Because I think Robert Downey Jr. will probably keep going as long as they pay him. Because you can tell he enjoys doing it.
Yeah.
He likes the money, obviously. Who doesn't? But you can tell he enjoys himself, and he likes doing it. I think if Marvel made the right price, he would do Iron Man 4.
Yeah.
And I think they could very well introduce the real Mandarin they could do it. The only time I was mentioning the Avengers is they could do him as a background thing, kind of. Thanos was the background thing, and that won't be culminated until Infinity Wars. Mm-hmm. Like he was name dropped back in Avengers 1. Well, face dropped. But,
yeah.
So I could see them doing a Mandarin as a mainline villain, or if they do an Iron Man 4, they could do it for Iron Man 4.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I mean, they have the build up. It wouldn't be that jarring to do it. Well, unless you're the people that just kind of hop around the different Marvel movies. Which, if you are, I would recommend going and watching all the Marvel movies. I know it'll take time. Set aside a few months. You know, call into work. You know, I'm sick, man. And you know, just watch all of them. I mean, you don't have to necessarily watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., although I would recommend it. Just watch watch the mainline movies along with the one shots, because there's a lot of storytelling that was built up between movies, like in all of these that may come to a culmination. Even Thanos, like I think it's very helpful to watch the old one, all the other movies. And same with Mandarin. So if you haven't done it, I recommend it. If you don't, you may just be confused when something pops up that's been building for 5 movies.
All right, so let's move on. We are on rank 7. Or do we want to save the rank 7, 8, 9, and 10 for another day?
We might want to save it, I think. Although, I think it's just looking, and there's a chart at the bottom of this list, and this is where it really seems to drop off. Like, you have Iron Man, and then after that, they're all
pretty
just a huge
similar.
drop.
Yeah,
The only interesting ones are the newer Marvel Studio movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy, which we mentioned briefly last time.
Yeah.
Or even like Ant-Man, because those are standing pretty well on their own.
Something I'd like to point out, looking at Thor, Thor's first movie was $475 million. His second movie was $658. I think some of these other ones, like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man, they're going to do better on the second movie. We've now been introduced to the characters. They've gotten some screen time.
Like, especially Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that one's going to jump huge.
I think that's going to be like Avengers.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy was, when it came out, I'd have to look at all the numbers and the dates and stuff. I think Guardians of the Galaxy was one of, like, outside Avengers, I think it was one of the biggest grossing movies for Marvel Studios.
Yeah, and
like $777 million on your first movie, like and if it stays true to what usually happens with sequels tend to do better than the original.
Yeah,
some, not always, depending on how the original did.
Fantastic flop.
Like if the original was bad, then the second movie's not going to do good. But generally speaking, so if Guardians of the Galaxy does better, it's gonna start shooting up the list. I predict it'll be similar to Avengers, because Avengers was pretty far down the list because it had one movie.
Yeah.
And then, but it was still pretty high, and then you added in Avengers 2 and Civil War, and it just went shooting up. I mean, it only recently went to number 3, where after Civil War, I think, second weekend, it beat out X-Men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just recently beat out X-Men. So, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I think I saw it from the beginning because it was just like, it was doing so well. And so I mean, I can totally see Guardians of the Galaxy jumping up a lot. Thor, I think if Thor Ragnarok ends up being really good, I could see it getting into the 2 billion range, easy. I don't know how far up the list it'll go. I think it may still stay, below Iron Man though.
I think it will, because it'd have to get over $1 billion to beat out Iron Man.
I think I could see it reaching 2 billion. But I don't know if it'll go much higher than that.
Yeah, and it's got done.
Yeah, so we'll see how Thor Ragnarok does, but like you're saying, like the other one, there's not a lot of like standout ones near the bottom except for Guardians of the Galaxy. You could make a statement for Big Hero 6 if they end up doing a sequel to that.
They need to do a sequel for that.
I think they have plans for it.
I think I don't know if there's one officially announced yet, but I think there's plans.
Yeah.
Just like they haven't officially announced Incredibles 2 yet.
They have officially announced Incredibles 2.
Oh, they have?
That's the thing.
Where's my movie?
It's like 2017 or 2018.
I think it's next year.
It's either next year or next year. I don't remember. But yeah, no, that's been announced.
Yeah.
Um,
But the biggest factor in these next movies is generally the number of movies. There are 2 franchises that have 3 movies, which are Fantastic Four, which...
Fantastic Four has 3.
They
That's
have 3 movies. Yeah. And then the Blade trilogy had 3 movies. The rest have 1 or 2 movies.
Wait,
in their
why would the
franchise.
Blade trilogy have 3?
I don't know.
I don't know. I would put 5.
Why don't they have 5? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's the big guns that have tons of movies are Batman, X-Men, and Superman, and then the next highest is Spider-Man. Which I don't know if we went over this in the last one, but I'm pretty sure Spider-Man's gonna dethrone Batman.
Yeah, I mean, they have a new one coming out next year.
Oh yeah, there's a new one coming out next year, and it's $4,598 versus $4,927.
Yeah. So DC, if you want to win, you got to make a Batman movie in less than a year.
No, DC, don't do that, please.
I think that'd be bad.
Please don't do that. That would be awful.
Just pump it out super quick. Boom! Batman.
I know we know you like looking at the numbers, but don't do that.
As you're looking at the numbers, you'll see it spiraling slowly towards the ground.
So, and another point to bring up with the numbers thing is Marvel has 43 movies versus DC's 25 movies, but the thing is though, like even if you
movie.
like average per movie, I don't have the numbers completely updated, but like even just average per movie, Marvel still has DC beat out.
Yes,
and it's clear to see. I mean, even in like I think in another episode we'll probably go over the ratings even like I think I said this last time, but even in the ratings, like Marvel just stands out. Like Marvel has made better movies.
Well, and something funny about the amount of money that's gone through, Marvel spent almost as much money as DC has made. And it is definitely paid out. So DC, for every $1 they spend, they get about $2 back. Marvel, for every $1 they spend, they're getting about $2.2 back, $2.2 back. So they're both making the same amount of profit. Marvel's just got a better system to bring out the movies.
Yeah. Marvel's just doing better in general. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And whether you're a DC fanboy or you're a Marvel fanboy, that's not the point. You can't look at these numbers. Even if you ignore the box office, even if you look at some of the ratings, like Marvel's winning by, in some cases, a large margin. It's like, and I think the thing that always confused me, because I've seen this recently, like, I will give this out to them. DC fanboys have a lot of faith.
They do.
Because even after Batman vs Superman right now is like on shaky ground right now, I still see comments. People are like, you know what? Justice League is going to be epic though. And
Justice League will win.
And it's just like, you just like have to facepalm. You're like, I mean, bravo on you for having faith, but there's not a lot of claims you can't make that claim. There's not enough basis to make a claim that Justice League is going to be epic.
Justice League is going to introduce 3 brand new, never before seen characters.
Aquaman, Flash, and Green Lantern?
Yes. No backstory.
Ryan Reynolds isn't going to be in it?
Cyborg?
No.
Oh, yes.
Cyborg
Is Cyborg in it too?
So is that 4?
No.
Flash, Green Lantern.
No, Green Lantern. Flash. Sorry, Green Lantern's not in the movie. It'd be Flash, Cyborg, and...
Is Green Lantern not Justice League? I know they're doing a new Green Lantern movie.
I don't know what's happening with the Green Lantern. All honesty.
No, they're making a Green Lantern's corpse. I think it's been announced. I don't know if he's going to be in Justice League.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds will not be in it.
Yes.
But
because I don't even think Ryan Reynolds liked that movie.
No, he did.
3 new characters. Avengers. How many new characters did we have? We had Hild, which is a minor character, and we had Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. Hawkeye, I think, only character.
Kind of though, because he already appeared. He did appear in Thor. Briefly.
It was pretty brief though.
Yeah, but you'd have to know who he was in Thor.
That's right. I'll give you. I'll give you.
We just saw a random dude. Well, we knew he wasn't a random dude.
Yeah.
Most people saw a random dude
with the bow and arrow.
Like what?
You could kind of say Coulson.
No, he was in Iron Man and was he in Iron Man 2?
Yes.
I
He
mean,
was in Iron Man
he
2.
didn't. You didn't really know Coulson though until Avengers.
No,
You didn't know Coulson until you watched the shorts. I'm sorry, guys.
The shorts are
that's
awesome.
true. The shorts are.
I'm so glad we decided to watch those.
Yeah, that just made that movie better.
Coulson's
But even then,
great.
Coulson is.
He's in Iron Man 1.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how to
He
say
has
this.
he has a big part in Iron Man 2 as well.
Yeah. Even then, Coulson wasn't one of the Avengers. You know, he's
Well,
frontward.
spoiler for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, he was.
That's true. But yeah. Well,
One of
anyway,
the best lines of that show.
You're all
Those-
supposed to use it for Avengers.
We did. They're like, yes, Coulson.
So that's probably gone on long enough. It's going long. So
Have we though?
Yeah,
I'm ready for
Probably-
round 3.
we'll probably do round 3.
we'll probably
later.
do a round 3.
Yeah, no, this has been pretty long, and I
think
get
we
the
should
feeling
save-
this is going to be a trend where these discussions are going to go on longer, just because there's so much to go over, and we all have these really big opinions and ideas and thoughts on all this stuff. So this will probably end up going bigger. Final thoughts. Do you want to start this time, Grant?
Final thoughts. I have no final thoughts, so I will just say see you next time.
No comment, Your Honor.
No comment, exactly. Craig?
No, I think we've said a lot, and definitely
I've said a lot.
Marvel Studios, keep up the good work. DC Warner Brothers, take note.
We do think that DC can do well. Like
We do.
We mentioned this a few times last time, but we don't hate DC. It's just we have yet to really.
It's like I said, they haven't had the best track
They
record,
haven't
and
wowed us for a while.
I mean, I would love to believe the fan that said Justice League is going to be epic. There's no basis for it though.
But we don't love those characters yet.
I mean, if Justice League trailer comes out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks great. I'll go see it. But I'm waiting until the trailer.
If I buy you a ticket, would you go see it?
Probably, I think.
Okay.
I'll
It's a free ticket.
I take
I
free
mean,
stuff.
That's the thing is like I would be willing to see a movie, but so far I haven't been willing to pay for a DC movie for a while.
Would
I
you
mean-
pay for Fantastic Four?
No, I haven't. That's why I still haven't seen the Fantastic Flop.
Well, you have to have that basis. I mean, that's why we go to Marvel Studios on day one. They have yet to disappoint me.
Man.
So I
One of
mean,
these
I know some
days-
people have been disappointed, but they haven't disappointed me yet. So I'm like, I will blindly buy tickets to Marvel Studios movies because they haven't disappointed me yet.
Would you blindly buy a ticket to Howard the Duck?
Yes.
If it was Marvel Studios, yeah.
Okay.
Like straight. Like I'm not.
Like, I don't love the character, but if it's Marvel Studios, I would.
Here's the truth, though. I would have to see a trailer. You know, seeing the trailers.
I would still say the trailer, but I would probably still go see it.
Yeah.
Marvel. That's my dedication to Marvel Studios. They have not disappointed me.
Okay, Marvel, you've heard our challenge. Make Howard the Duck.
You
You will make at least 3 tickets worth.
They're going to spend like how many millions of dollars to make?
We're not talking math here, Craig.
But yeah. Anyways, my final thoughts is probably reiterating. We don't hate DC. I don't hate DC. I want to see a good DC movie. There hasn't been one
It's hard to see something that
yet.
doesn't exist.
I can't. So definitely watch all the Marvel Studios movies. Specifically, if you were disappointed at the Mandarin, watch Iron Man 1, 3, and All Hail the King again.
Just to clarify, where is All Hail the King for people who don't know where it's at?
It's on Thor: The Dark World, I believe.
I think you can find it on YouTube, though.
We believe it's on Thor: The Dark World. If we're wrong, we're going to put it in our show notes.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Or the next episode. Either way.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if it's not.
Skywriting.
Just buy all the Marvel Studios movies.
And then you
will have it somewhere.
It will be Phase 2.
It is Phase 2.
I'm pretty sure it's Thor: The Dark World.
I think it is, because Thor was the next movie, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Thor: The Dark World. I don't know if it has it on the DVD. I know for a fact it's on the Blu-ray.
So go play all the go buy all the Blu-rays.
That too. But yeah, those are my final thoughts. Rewatch Iron Man. DC do better.
And just for the record, we were not sponsored by Marvel Studios. We are not sponsored by DC. We're not
sponsored by Iron Man.
We're definitely.
I wish I was.
But if there are any offers,
We will take it, especially.
Is this coming from you, Tony Stark / Robert Downey Jr.?
Hey, I bet we could get him to like us.
okay.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap up because it's been really long. Hopefully you don't care. So, but I've been Scott.
I'm Grant.
And I'm Craig.
And we'll see you next time.